So this is gonna be the Gatorade ad for our campaign. Just bear in mind this is the basketball example, but it shall be applied to every major sport the UK people, British people play or compete in. So it starts off in the 80s with the 80s Gatorade bottle, which is still glass. You have the old Gatorade packaging, and imagine the screen being quite not as crisp as today, so like 80s type of quality. So here we have a shot of a school locker. It's got two Gatorades on the side to imply that Gatorade is part of the normal routine when one does exercise. There's a towel there, and this guy's clutching a Gatorade in his hand. He takes a sip and then places it back to the locker. Now, as he places it back to the locker, the camera suddenly pans to the left. And to the left, it's your typical school or sports hall gym scene with your local or the bully in your school who's usually is the best player in his sport. And in this case, we have the high school jock. And since it's high school, things are a bit petty, and he goes, "Let's see what you got, ugly." And he actually manages to perform well after having his sip of Gatorade. He makes the shot, and the camera pans back to the right, which is again now to a more crisper image. This is the 90s with the 90s Gatorade bottle and the 90s branding packaging, if you will. It's now a more professional looking locker with the same elements featured from earlier. And again, he takes a look, he takes a sip of the Gatorade, and he places it back in the locker. And as it pans to the left, it's actually now he's on a professional level. There are people in the stands watching him play, and he's playing against a professional player who represents a professional team in London. And again, there's the usual trash talk language used within games. So he's saying like, "Bring it, boy," and he does bring it. He makes the shot, does a couple of moves, makes the shot, and crowd goes crazy. Camera pans to the right, this time in a more clearer image, like really clear image, with the new Gatorade bottle we designed for our UK relaunch. So you got the G repackaging here, and from the transition earlier we can know that it's still Gatorade from the whole logo to the G. And it's now a very swish, like really nice locker, again with the same elements from the two previous instances before. And as the camera pans to the left, it's the biggest stage. He puts it back, of course, after he drinks it. And as the camera pans to the left, it's now the biggest stage. You got the camera flashes, big crowds. This is actually the O2 Arena, an Olympic venue, and he's playing against one of Gatorade's endorsers, one of the best players currently in the world, Dwayne Wade, who represents America and is number 3 for Team USA. So again, the usual bit, trash talk. He says, "Come on, let's do this, try me." And he does it. He tries him, he makes the shot, crowd goes wild, and then we go on to our last scene, which is HD, like sometime in the near future. He's still looking at the same Gatorade bottle, same elements, better looking locker this time. He looks at the Gatorade, takes a sip, puts it back, and as the camera pans to the left, it is now Michael Jordan, the living legend. And he stops in his steps rather than go about it usually. It's Gatorade's main endorser, by the way. So he looks at Michael Jordan, stops, and then goes back and again takes a look at his Gatorade, takes a sip, places it back, and that's when he finally dared to go against Jordan. And as he approaches Jordan with his moves, before we could see how the result came out, the camera cuts into a scene that says our slogan for Gatorade, "I feel daring," and then after that it shows Gatorade since 1965. The end.